Okay, it's that time of the year. It's spooky season, and you know what that means? Well, obviously, it's a thing I do every October. It's Halloween related movies. I don't always do horror films. Some of them are just, Halloween related, but I'm going to try and review as much horror films as I can. So, and maybe there's some Halloween-esque type films I can review later, but today I'm going to review an actual horror movie, The Conjuring. So the plot of this movie is this couple named the Warrens, who are played by Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga, are paranormal investigators ha- who investigate this family called the Perrins, who live in a farmhouse in Rhode Island, they and the parents say that their farmhouse has been really really haunted, and they believe it's possessed by spirits, and the whole thing was caused by a doll named Annabelle, and the spirit takes a path to what possess one of the kids, and a bunch of really really scary things happen. So they go around trying to track down the spirit and try to trace down everything of what happened and hopefully get the house back to normal. I quite liked this movie. It was real. I thought for a supernatural possession type film, I think this is a pretty good one to get into if you really want to get into the genre. It's the plot isn't really um, anything particularly new, because usually when it comes to these possession type films, the main character is always some investigator or a priest, or some kind of religious person who uh, tries to get rid of the spirit. So I guess in hindsight, like the characters being the more weird, having the weird type of career as trying to be rid of spirits isn't really that new. But this movie did an interesting idea of having the investigators be a married couple, and I think they really worked well with each other. It's not like one was tough and really determined and the other one was nervous. No, they they really worked well with each other, and I think even the parent family, I think all have great interaction with the Warrens. I think you can tell that even though the Warrens are really determined, they're also pretty nervous, and even everyone else is pretty nervous and really wants to track down this really bad occurrence, because all these really bad turn of events are haunting this house. And haunted house films are always really cool because they're so unexpected a lot of times. Like, this movie doesn't rely that much on jump scares. There are a few jump scares, but it does kind of work in this kind of movie because it's a movie about a haunted house and a family that's gone really berserk over it, and the whole thing is that there's danger around every corner. So I think jump scares work for haunted house type plots. They don't work for every horror movie Hollywood. And Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga, they're a really good couple. I think they really have great chemistry with each other. You can tell they're a good couple and they really are good partners. And Patrick Wilson, like, he's always good. I mean, he has worked with the director of this film, James Wan, and other stuff. Like, he was in the Aquaman movies and he did Insidious, obviously. So he really does have a knack for working with James Wan. So you can tell he had a lot of fun here. And Vera Farmiga also did really good. And Joey King, like I said, she plays one of the Perrin kids, and Joey King's really good. It was good to see one of her earliest works because she's been in quite a lot of action films lately, and I think she's a cool actress for her age. So it was really cool seeing her do a more horror type film and being a more younger character who's really scared before she toughened up in later roles. So it's kind of an interesting turn of events to see how far her career's gotten. And all the kids do really good. I don't know any of the actors who play the other kids, but all the young kids, I think for their age, they did really good. In fact, that's one thing about horror films. Like, even in I find in bad horror films, the child actors are actually kind of good and they're actually trying even when everyone else isn't. But even in good films, I think children are really good at acting out being scared. And even in this film, it's a film where anything can happen. It's a haunted house haunted by a spirit, so really anything can happen. So you can you can really trust a bunch of kids to act out being scared and terrified and not knowing danger around every corner like paranormal investigators would, because they're basically normal people like the rest of the island, so we can connect with them. And it's definitely a very interesting film. It more so has a framing device, because the beginning actually does show the Warrens being paranormal investigators and explaining a case, and then it just flashes forward to the movie. Here, they don't really cut back and forth between uh, the Warrens and the actual story. Here, you really full out see the farmhouse story, and I like that. I like that they didn't cut away. I mean, if you want a breather every now and then, you could just at least cut to the characters, doing something. You don't have to, remind us, oh, this was just a flashback or whatever. So I like that they explored the house more without resorting to scares every 30 seconds. So yeah, The Conjuring, it's quite a good movie in terms of horror films of like the past decade. So, well, mind you, this one came out 11 years ago, but whatever. Uh, yeah, and I hadn't seen any of the sequels, but I might see them given it's October and I want to try and watch more scary films. So The Conjuring, I think it's quite a good film. It's even if some elements aren't exactly original, like the possession, haunted house stuff, there's still enough in it to make you think it's interesting. And there's a lot of great scares and some pretty good performances. So yeah, it's a very creepy film. It's pretty scary, and it's really good. It's not boring. So even when it needs a breather, it's still really interesting. So that's definitely something to applaud. So yeah, Conjuring, I had a really fun time with this film. Like, I don't think it's amazing, but I really liked this one. So I don't know if maybe I'll check out the other two sometime. And I don't know, I don't even know if they're making up any more of these films. But I haven't seen Annabelle. I heard Annabelle's pretty bad, but The Conjuring, it's quite good. So maybe I might try to give the franchise a chance, see if it's any good. But as its own movie, I think it's quite good. It's scary, has a good plot, so it's quite good. It's everything you really want. So yeah, so obviously I'm really hoping to review any more scary horror films or just Halloween themed films in general that aren't scary. So this is always a fun month for me. So I guess as always, get ready for those. Even I might even just review some random miscellaneous movies that aren't even scary. So yeah, so Conjuring, if you want to see something scary for Halloween, or if you really want to get into possession, supernatural types films and the horror genre, I think this is a good one to watch for the season. So take care, everybody.